Tuesday, July 24th, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at a unsolved mystery from Siberia. We're here at the Watchers.news. We're going to look at this article and an article from the area, the Siberian Times, as the mystery deepens as nobody can seem to figure out exactly what happened, as Arctic Siberia turns completely dark for a period of 3 hours on July 20th. 2018. The area that we're talking about is right here, just a couple of 100 miles south of Yana Bay, right in this area. And this time of year, it's daylight 24/7. To kind of put things in perspective, it's just inside the Arctic Circle at around the 67-degree north latitude. So that's the area we're talking about. And this time of year, it does stay daylight all the time. But as it turns out, this mysterious event occurred during the lunchtime hours, basically 11:30 to 2 p.m., so it would have been daylight regardless. Story goes on to say many reports came in of this phenomenon. People said they couldn't see a thing without switching their lights on. They took torches outside to walk around, but people really didn't feel comfortable outside, as it was kind of an eerie feeling, people are saying. At first, one person thought they saw a thunderstorm coming in. The air went dark and got darker and darker. And they said, but this time it was unlike anything that they'd ever seen before. Some residents are saying that they saw some sort of a flash of light first. They're considering this a weird phenomenon. Some people thought that maybe it was caused from raging wildfires in other districts, but officials have expressed doubts over this theory, and again, that was just a theory. Nobody really knows. In fact, I think the wildfires would have had to have been exceptionally close to this area to completely block out the sun. You're talking peak solar noon, and it went completely dark. It wasn't like it was evening or early morning. 11:30 to 2 p.m., 12 would be peak solar. Sun is directly overhead. So whatever it was very thick. As you can tell by the pictures, this is a picture here of someone driving with their headlights on. People who live here for many years said they've never witnessed anything like this. The darkness was pitch black. It didn't come at once, but it grew gradually. The sun was gone, and I'm quoting, the sun was gone from 11:30 to 1400. That's 2 p.m. And again, that's right in the middle of solar noon. So the sun would have been directly overhead. But it was, for whatever reasons, pitch dark. Local officials also said there was a sharp drop in the temperature, which reminded me of if you've ever experienced a total solar eclipse, the temperature drops. And some of these pictures, if you look at them closely, it reminds you of a solar eclipse. Like, for instance, maybe that one, or that one's of an area where there are wildfires burning, and that's what the sky looks like. This isn't the area that the day turned to night. But if you look at some of these pictures, you do kind of get the feeling that, okay, it was some sort of an eclipse. But it was not an eclipse, or at least not one that anybody knew of. That one looks like it could be an eclipse. A total solar eclipse does affect the temperature, but that's not what happened here. In fact, nobody really knows what happened here. Some other people are saying there's just all kinds of mixed reports. Some people thought they saw smoke. Some people thought maybe they saw dust. Some people thought maybe they saw a thunderstorm, but it never did rain. They saw clouds. They just simply don't know. But the bottom line is the people that live here, that are used to 24/7 daylight during this time of year, they don't know what they could have possibly seen. They can't explain it. And right now, there is no official explanation for what went on over here. People are very mystified. I mean, they're looking at it from all possible angles, but they cannot come up with a conclusive definition of what really went on over here. There's a picture there, and you can see it is completely dark. So again, this is from right here, northern Siberia, a couple hundred miles south of the East Siberian Sea, Yana Bay, right in here. And it was an area the size of Italy that went black. Multiple districts reporting the same phenomenon, temperature changing, went black outside like it was nighttime, and there is no nighttime right now. It's daylight 24/7, and not only that, it was at solar noon, so the sun should have been directly overhead, but they couldn't see it. Temperature dropped, very strange phenomenon. It almost looks like a solar eclipse. And speaking of eclipses, there will be a lunar eclipse at the end of this week. Don't miss this week's deep red blood moon, the longest lunar eclipse of this century. Story dated July 23rd, 2018, yesterday. The eclipse is this Friday, the 27th. And I'm going to show you a map of visibility and the greatest visibility and who will not be able to see this lunar eclipse. This article here shows you how the eclipse works. Got a couple of diagrams here that are actually very good in explaining how the eclipse phenomenon works. If you are in these locations, you will not be able to see the lunar eclipse. Greenland, Canada, the United States, Mexico, Central America, Cuba, most of the Bahamas. If you're in the Dominican Republic, at least the eastern Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the outlying islands, you will be able to briefly see the lunar eclipse. This is the area here in the center that will have the best viewing opportunity. It will be visible from London, France, Spain, Norway, Canada, Alaska, the United States, Mexico, Central America will not be able to see this lunar eclipse. And it will be a historic one. It will be one of the longest of the century, lasting for 1 hour and 43 minutes, close to the longest lunar eclipse possible and the longest of the 21st century. As the moon rises on Friday, July 27th in 2018, you will begin to see the process by which the moon hides behind the Earth's shadow, and what we call a lunar eclipse. And that's essentially simplified. What happens is the Earth and the moon and the sun are almost in a direct alignment, so to speak, and the moon gets tucked in behind the shadow that's produced by the Earth from the sunlight. And when it's in that shadow, it causes it to change colors. And depending on the atmospheric optics of Earth, and depending on what's going on this side of the Earth, with regard to the viewing experience, let's say there were a lot of volcanoes erupting in this part of the world during the lunar eclipse. That volcanic dust in the atmosphere would affect the viewing. I mean, even if it wasn't cloudy, it would give the moon a different color, is what I'm trying to say. If it's cloudy, naturally you're not going to have a very good view. If skies are clear in any of these areas here, you will have a good view of the lunar eclipse. But with this dust storm coming out of the Sahara, we saw the dust earlier. In fact, we ruled out up here in Siberia the possibility of whatever that was that caused day to turn to night being a dust storm. The closest dust storm from the sands of the Sahara event are about 800 miles away, up here just north of India. So it was not anything related to this particular dust storm. The area that went dark is right here. So the closest one, like I said, is about 800 miles away. But this area, this part of the Earth, will have a good view of the lunar eclipse. However, these dust particulates will influence the color of the moon. So it may be a different color of red. We'll just have to wait and see. It could be a more profound color of red because the Earth's atmosphere does influence what you see in the sky. So anyway, all links below in the description box, guys. This is a good little article here. And once again, if you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, you won't be able to see this one. We'll be able to see another one, I think, next year or later on this year. There's another one here listed at this website. August 11th, 2018, there's a partial solar eclipse. January 5th, there's a partial solar eclipse again. Total lunar eclipse January of 2019. And that one will be visible in North America. Good information here. I'll post this link too if you guys want to check it out. But once again, a mystery in Siberia as day turns to complete darkness and no one knows why. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day and be safe out there.